So can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So yesterday we ended at pipelines and we ended at the releases. So there is no pipeline, the release pipeline which is created. So the best way to create a release pipeline is from the build, because it's a pipeline. We will get the steps handy. So what will we do? We'll just go ahead and click on one of the releases, say edit. So that's my build. Once I want to once I want to create a pipeline, let me just go to that history and click on release. That's another way of creating your release file. Instead of clicking on this and then creating, by clicking from the build, I get the first step populated. So my first step is already populated. It is the input given by the build. So what did build do? Build went ahead and gave me. So what did build do? It went ahead and built the files, the project. Then it went ahead and packaged it and dropped it at a shared location. We saw what is the shared location template looking like. And let's close this. I'm going to build some open tab. In the published symbols, there is a build sources directory. This is where you are going ahead and dropping your build file. That is what is the default place wherein I will drop my build file. So once that is dropped in a default place, if at all you want to drop it in a shared location, this is where you are going to change it. Like a file server or anything else, if at all you want to drop it in a shared location, this is where we will change. This is a cloud location, which is given by Azure. So if I use the cloud location default property, it is available within my Azure DevOps portal. So I can go ahead and use this shared location to fetch my package, which is the build package, and then deploy it. So once I have the build file, drop it in the shared location, what will I do? I'll go ahead and deploy it. How will I deploy it? By creating a release step. In the release step, what I'll do, I'll pull the package from the shared location. That is what I'm doing here. The first step. The first step went ahead and pulled the package from the shared location. That is what this step doing, which is automatically done for me when I'm doing it from the staged location. It went ahead and pulled the package and gave it to me here. The next thing is, once I get the artifact, that is, I got the build file from the shared location. Once I get the artifact, what should I do? I should take it and deploy it. Deploy it where? That is what is the next question. So if I just click on that, where can I deploy it? I can deploy it in multiple options. There is nothing like one option which we have here. We can deploy it in multiple places. let us go ahead and deploy it using Visual Studio, because here deployment essentially takes it to VM, wherein there are charges which would be applied. We will look at all the process except deployment. Let us deploy it using Visual Studio, then come back to this process. So if I just open, yeah, there is a question. Someone is asking something. So we just have created your project. Let me just open your project. Let me open your project. It will take some time. Just a minute. So just launch this, just to check everything is good. Yeah, so everything looks fine. Now we will go ahead and deploy it. How can we deploy it? I'll just say right click, publish. Where do I want to publish? Once I start, you have multiple options which I can use inside my publish options here. You see that there app service, so I can deploy it in Azure directly from my Visual Studio. I need not have a release step inside my Azure DevOps, but why is release step required? If I don't have the release step inside Azure DevOps, every developer has to push it like this from Visual Studio. That's not a realistic scenario. In a real-time scenario, you would not have every developer keep on pressing publish. This is only useful when you are playing around, when you want to just host something, see what it is looking like, and stuff. So when you are doing it as a standalone developer, then you would be doing it this way. You have multiple options. I can go ahead and select a Azure service, which is create new. What will this create new do? It will create a new Azure app service inside the cloud. It will create the new Azure app service. If I want to select an existing app service, because I would have published something already, let's say 10 days back, I have published some website. Now I am republishing it in a newer version. I did some code modifications over the last 10 days. Now I am republishing it. That is when I will say select existing, and I will select the existing app service which is already there in cloud. Those are the two options which I have here inside app service. What is the other option here? We have Azure virtual machine. We spoke about virtual machines and what are the advantages of virtual machine and what a virtual machine actually is and stuff. I can go ahead and select a virtual machine inside the cloud and host my website inside the cloud. So how can I do it from here? By using the Azure virtual machine option. What is the third option we have? IaaS, FTP or web deploy. There are three options there. What is IaaS? That's your IaaS, your Internet Information Server. That's your IaaS. It's a pretty huge server which is available. Do you know about IaaS, or should I give you a briefing about IaaS? You already know IaaS? Or how?
Yes, I know.
Okay. What about other person? I just got one answer.
Yeah, please tell a little bit something. I know, but I just want to know something more.
Okay. So this is the server which is proprietary for Microsoft. Whenever we are dealing with Microsoft products, this is the hosting environment. This is where I host my end product. Once I have built everything, which we will do now, we will build everything and we will go ahead and host my package inside IaaS. This is the hosting machine. You have multiple things which you can enable inside IaaS. That is, if I just click on authorization, that is who is authorized to go ahead and access a particular website. I can select authorization rules on who is allowed to access a particular website. I can select that site, whatever is that site. I can set the authorization rules on. I have three sites here. Default website comes with IaaS. That is not my website. MVC deploy, that's my website, which is deployed by me. Web API deploy, that is again my website, which is deployed by me. I can go ahead and set authorization rules. What is authorization? There are two different things when you speak about allowing a specific person or not. What are those two different things? Which is authorization and authentication. Authentication comes first. Authentication and authorization. What is authentication? Who are you? That is what is authentication. What is authorization? What are the permissions you are given? I know you are a valid user, or then only authorization would be triggered. He is a valid user, but is he allowed to do something? Does he have a permission? That's what is authorization. Like an example, in your G drive, whenever you are using G drive, you have a limit of 15 GB. After 15 GB, it will say I will not store anymore. You have to go ahead and upgrade. grid, your G Drive. How do you log into G Drive? Using your Gmail's username and password. That is what is authentication. So in authentication, you go ahead and authenticate yourself, what you are, by using your username password. After 15 GB, if at all you are interested in it, let us say you bought something around 30 GB more from Google. So what will it do? It will allow you to access 30 more GB. Then you have 45 GB of data inside G Drive. When you try to access the extra data, it will check the authorization internally. When you are storing more than 15 GB of data, let us say you are increasing your file storage count to 16 GB. Is this a normal count? No. Only a privileged customer who has bought the storage can go ahead and use 16 GB within G Drive. It will check internally without asking you. Are you a user who is allowed to use 16 GB? Are you authorized? Are you authorized to do that? You are authenticated, but are you authorized? That is what is permission. Taking another example, you go ahead and delete a file inside your Windows folder, inside your C drive, in the Windows folder, the default Windows folder where your OS files are present. It will go ahead and say, prompt you, you should be an admin to go ahead and do this task. Are you an admin? Where is it asking you? You are already logged into the machine. That's why you are able to go ahead and say C and Windows Drive and then delete it. You are authenticated. Now it is asking you, are you an admin? It is asking you for authorization. Once you say OK, it will check whether your username is present inside the administrative group or not. That is what it will do in the authorization step. These are very important differences, authentication and authorization. Interviewers like this question. They like, because they both look similar, right? They are almost sounding similar, authentication, authorization. So they sound similar, but they are totally different. They are not exactly the same. They are completely different. Just do a little bit of reading around authentication and authorization. This would be one of your interviewers' favorite question. They like speaking about authentication and authorization. So you have multiple settings. I don't want to speak about all the settings. So you see authorization here and you see authentication here. These are different things altogether. And you are having authorization rules which you can set. Any other things? Your HTTP mappings or your handler mappings. You have multiple handlers which are present inside IS. Depending upon your IS API filters or your extensions given to your files, .aspx would be handled by a different handler. .json or MVC would be handled by a different handler. Your MVC project would be handled by a different handler. Each project type would be handled by a different handler. But there are multiple handlers which are present inside MVC. Your handler mapping takes care of mapping all your handlers to different handlers, whatever you have. Your ASP is the legacy handler, which is back in 2000s. That's when they discovered ASP. That is your oldest handler which is present inside the IIS server. If you just look at the IIS server, it's a pretty huge set of settings which you can do. We can keep on speaking about it. You can manage your session state here. What is session state? When you log into your bank account, within how much time do you of inactivity, it will say your account is your session is no longer valid. Please relog in. Within how much of time? 5 minutes. After 5 minutes of inactivity, it will throw you out. Just for security concerns. What about Gmail? If you log in once, the next time when you shut down your entire machine, come back next day, open your browser, say Gmail. Are you auto logged in? Yeah. How many days will it maintain that information? it will never expire. It is nothing like 1 day, 2 day. It will never expire. You maintain it for 10 years, it will be there. It will never expire. There are some sessions which need not expire, like Gmail session. There are some sessions which have to expire, like your banking account or banking domain sessions, which are highly secured. So depending upon your website which you are hosting, you will play around with the session state. When should I expire it? When should I keep it? That is where you would use this. If all you are using mailing kind of a services, whenever you are done booking your IRCTC ticket, what will you do? Once your IRCTC ticket is booked, what will happen? There will be two triggers. You will get a message as well as you will get a mail over your mail. So this website, IRCTC website, is going ahead and triggering a mail. It has access to SMTP mailing service. It has access to a server, SMTP server, which is going ahead and firing those mails. If at all you have a requirement like that in your application. Taking another example, when you place an Amazon order, you will get a mail saying that your Amazon order is placed. You will get a message saying that your Amazon order is placed. There are two notifications, one to your mobile phone, one to your Gmail account or whatever is your mailing account, let it be Yahoo or whatever. So there are two triggers, and you would be firing a mail trigger as well. This is where you will configure your mailing stuff on your SMTP mailing thing. Then you have certificates. What's a certificate? You have two kinds of protocol access which you can do on your website. HTTP or HTTPS. What is S? S is your secure way of dealing with the website. So what are you saying when you are saying S? All of your information which you are exchanging between your server and your client is all encrypted. It is encrypted with what? With the certificate. It is a secure SSL certificate. That's what you would call that certificate. What is that certificate doing? It is encrypting your information. What it is saying, when you send some information from your browser in your laptop, until and unless it reaches the server, all the information is encrypted. It is jumbled, so that anyone who is interacting with it or trying to hack it in between, because we are a network, it is an internet, it's an internet network, anyone can hack it. So anyone will try to hack it, he will see gibberish. Why he will see gibberish? Because it has been encrypted by a certificate. He needs a certificate to decrypt it, which is not there with him, which would be there in the server. That's why it is called as SSL, HTTPS kind of a website. And all your certificates will go inside that block. You will be specifying all your certificates. I need not speak about too many things. Let me go to another important thing. Your application tools. What's an application tool? It will help you segregate your application in a isolated fashion. So if at all you are having 3 websites in your server, can you have 3 websites in your server? Yeah, I can have as many websites as I want in my server. Because it's a server, I can deploy many web applications in my server. When you're deploying so many web applications, you want to isolate the crash. If one web application crashes, it should not impact other web applications. Only that should go down. Remaining web applications should stay as is. Then I will create something called as an application pool. I'll assign to an application pool, I'll assign 2-3 websites, or I will assign only one website. It is up to me. If I want to contain the loss, then I will just assign one application pool to one website. In most of the scenarios, you will see that the application pool is being reused. And you will be seeing if there are 10 websites in your server, each 3 websites should be using one application pool. That is also fine. What will happen when I segregate using application pools in my server? Essentially, they will go ahead and contain your loss. And if one server in application pool 1, I have application 1. Application pool 2, I have application 2. Application pool 3, application 3. Application 1 crashes. Then because I have assigned it to an application pool 1, it will only crash application 1 and application 2 and 3 are contained. They will not be impacted because of that clash. Why? Because I have used different application pools to host my different websites. That is the reason I will contain the loss. This is one of the very fundamental concepts when you're working with websites, how to deal with application pools and what are the ways in which you do it and why do application pools. So in your interviews, they will be interested in whenever they're speaking about deployment, they'll speak about application pooling. They'll ask you, what is application pooling? Can you please explain me what application pooling is? We spoke about it. Whatever we have spoken about it, that is what is application pooling. You can add as many application pools as you want. You can just see that I have an option to add application pool. I can go ahead and add an application pool. What is the CLR version which I want to use? Is it an older version or the newer version? There are only two CLR versions in the market as of today, 2019. Your V2 or V4, version 2 or version 4. These are the two CLR versions which I have. Mostly we will be going with 4.0 because that is what is the latest, and we will be creating websites on the latest framework. That is what we will be using, and I'll create an application pool, and I can go ahead and use that application pool inside my application hosting environment. That's about application tools. Let me just see if there is anything else. That's pretty much about it. In the content view, I'll get what is the content within my website. So I have multiple websites which are present here. I'll just ignore the other things. What is IaaS and FTP? It will help me deploy my package, which is here, inside IaaS, inside your Internet Information Server. That is the official server of Microsoft. If I say IaaS and FTP publish, it is asking me what is the kind of publish which you want to do. There are multiple options which I can do. Let me do one thing. File system. I'll say where I want to deploy this package. Let me do it, then explain. Let me just take this and say next. I want what is the version of the folder which you want. What will I have if I say debug? I will have all the PDB files and stuff. I don't want PDB files. They are only for debugging. In a release package, why will I debug anything? So I'm not having PDB packages and stuff like that inside a release folder. Many redundant things and unnecessary things will not be present inside a release configuration. That is what I'm saying here. Go ahead and do the release way of publishing my code. I'll say save. It is doing the job. Once it builds and deploys, I'll see a folder here in my empty folder there. It is doing that build and packaging it and publishing it, and I'm done. Once I'm done, what will I do? I'll go to my IaaS and say right click, I'll say my name as site name as DevOps. I'll just leave it there, DevOps. That's my connection string. Authentication is successful. Authorization will anyway fail, not an issue. I'm just assigning a port, and there is nothing like a host name. Start website immediately. Okay, that should be fine. Let me just see if it starts immediately. If it doesn't start, let me try to restart. The port number is a clash. Let me just restart it. It is going mad. I'll say add website. I'll just say DevOps. And what is a physical path? What is a physical path? Port 5678. Let me just try. It is taking some time. Just hold on. That's about it. What did I do? I went ahead and hosted my application inside IIS, and I'm able to access it on the port 5678. That is the port we did it, right? That's how simple it is for you to host your application. I hosted my application inside IIS. What are the steps which I followed? You just have seen those steps. I'm saying publish. I just forget this. I need to forget this because now it understands that every time I do publish, I'm doing this. I need to forget this guy. So let me just close this. Just to show it to you again, the other options which you have. And delete this guy. Where is it that I can delete this guy from? I don't want you to remember me. There is a publish profile. Let me try deleting it. That's good. So this is what is the option which I want. What did we do? We did the file system. The fourth option. We did the file system went ahead and deployed the package at a certain location. What will this package have? If you just look at it, the views, whatever are the views in your folder, in your project, the scripts, all the JavaScript files, your jQuery, your Bootstrap, blah blah blah, the fonts which your project is using, the CSS files, and most importantly your bin folder. What will your bin folder have? This is what is the actual application. Your bin folder will have the actual code of your application. Essentially whatever logic you built, all your classes, what will your classes be built into? Into a DLL. Your classes will be built into a DLL, and that's what you see there inside the bin folder. Your global.asx file, which is your configuration file, and your web config, which is your config file, wherein you will have all the config details. That is what is my publish to file server having. These are the things which my publish to file server having. That is what is the file system, not file server, file system having. Another kind of publish. If you don't want to do it in a file system way, the way which I did just now, and you don't want to do it that way, you already have a server and you know the server address. That is what you will give here in your server. You will say web deploy, you will give your server address, what is your site name, username and password to access your server, and what is the destination URL that you want to give. Destination URL is your endpoint URL, stackoverflow.com, amazon.in, that's your ultimate destination URL. So that is what you will be giving here. That's what is web deploy. Instead of you going ahead and deploying it manually, what did we do just now? We went ahead and created a folder and created a website inside my application. So what did I do here? I went ahead and created a website inside my application, then pointed that website to my actual files which I have built. So that's what I did manually. Instead of doing it manually, web deploy will auto deploy. It will go ahead and do that deployment part. It will auto deploy into that particular server, and it will give it the server name. Because mine is a local server, I'm just doing it like this. In a real-time scenario, your server will not be local. It would be somewhere remote. That is where you will go ahead and give your server address and everything related to your server. Then you will just go ahead and say next, and you're done. The way we are done just now. Instead of deploying your web deploy, what you will be doing, you are saying, don't deploy my website now. Give me the package. I will build it and deploy it afterwards. Then you will be using the web deploy package option. Then you will go ahead and take the package of your website, and you will use the package to do the web deploy afterwards. That is, you don't want to do it right away, you want to do it afterwards. Then only you will be using the web deploy package. That's your second option which you have. What is the third option which I have? FTP. Pretty understandable. If at all I want to deploy it in FTP server, there is a file transfer protocol server which is present, and usually companies will have a FTP server wherein they will store their projects and their packages. That is what I'm doing in my FTP option. I'll go ahead and store my package inside the FTP server. Where did I store the package? Just now, inside my local box. Here. If at all you have a FTP server address, if you show the address, it will deploy the exact same folders into that address. That's the only difference. I deployed using file system and deployed it locally. If you are deploying it using FTP, it will deploy it remotely in a FTP server. If you deploy it FTP using FTP, it will go ahead and deploy it in a remote server. That's the only difference. The content will be same. whatever you see the content in my shared in my location here, that is the same content you will be having even in the FTP deployment. No change when you use that deployment methodology. That's your FTP deployment. Those are your 4 options which you have whenever you select IaaS or FTP. What is the final option? I don't want you to deploy it anywhere. Just deploy it in a. Just give me the folder where you are deploying it, where I can get the package. That is where I use the publish option. What will this publish option, the folder option do? It will go ahead and publish the package to a specific folder. Here I am saying so and so folder. You can select whatever folder. We have already selected it using FTP. Your FTP, your file system, and your folder. Both are essentially doing the same thing. Just 2 different kinds of views which you have here. That's what I do whenever I am doing a deploy, whenever I am doing a publish of my website. This is how I will publish my website. Once I'm done publishing, that's your publish. That is what I do here. I want to publish it to some location. Let it be Azure service deployment or Java app or a Node.js app or whatever kind of app you have. I want to deploy it to a specific location. That is when I use, depending upon what my architecture is, if it is a Kubernetes, what I am using, then I'll use Kubernetes cluster. Or if I want to deploy a Python application, I'll use this. A PHP application, I'll use this option. A Node.js application, I'll use this option. Java application, this option. A regular .NET application, I'll use this option. You name the technology, you have an answer inside Azure. It goes ahead and works with all different kinds of technologies. I want to deploy it in a VM. Where is my VM? Let me just pull my VM. Let me just stop presenting for a minute. I'm still online. I'm just pulling my VM. So that's the VM which I have. I will not deploy it because, as I said, there is cost involved. So I'll just go ahead and show it to you until the deployment step. This is my VM which I have in Azure code. Once I click on that, I can go ahead and first I need to start the VM. Why? Because it is stopped. Why is it stopped? Just to save cost. I don't want to spend too much of money on Azure. So I'll just start it. Once I have started it, I'll go ahead and connect to my VM. How do I connect to it? Like this. Just say connect. that's my virtual machine. It's a Windows 10 virtual machine, so I can just minimize it. You can see this is my actual machine. So that's my Windows 10 virtual machine which I have here. Windows 10 virtual machine. Once I have my virtual machine, what will I do? If I want to deploy my code onto my virtual machine, I'll go ahead here and I'll use this option. If I want to deploy it in the virtual machine, I'll use the last option you see there. IIS website, SQL database deployment. Why will I use that? You see this here. If you want to deploy your website inside a virtual machine, use this deployment task. Microsoft is very clear. So if I just say that, it will anyway give me a virtual machine option, which is the first option, almost the second option, which I need to select. That is what I'll select. If I want to deploy my website, this is what I'll select. Look at what happens. It is done. I'll close it. How many jobs and how many tasks are created? 2 jobs are created and 4 tasks are created for those 2 jobs. You can click on that. Look at what are the number of things which are created for me. So it is telling me I will go ahead and deploy whatever package you give me, which is present here. The package is present here. Whatever package you give me, I'll deploy it inside IIS. I will deploy it inside IIS. That is what we did locally. I went ahead and deployed my application locally inside my DevOps web application. That is what it is staying in first time. If you want to deploy your web application inside a IIS inside VM, this is the task used. What will this do? It will go ahead and take the VM which is present in my virtual machine. It will take the VM which is present inside my virtual machine. Once it gets the VM which is present in my virtual machine, it will go ahead and deploy my website inside this virtual machine website. It will be something like on the sites, you will be having another site for your MVC which is deployed here. This is what it does whenever I go ahead and deploy it inside my VM. Similar experience. Is the experience changing? You anyway in your VM, you will anyway go ahead and deploy it inside your IIS. That is what I did even in my local machine. I went ahead and showed you how I will deploy an application inside my IIS. That is what it does even using the task. In this task, it will go ahead and deploy my code inside this IIS. Do I have a SQL database which I created? I did not create any database, right? It is pure code, C# code, no database. I'll delete this job.
Abdullah, how can I deploy SQL scripts and all through this job?
Essentially, just now I deleted it. Okay, let me just. Go to pipeline, delete stage 2. Click on that again. Come to your option wherein you can deploy it in VM. Say apply. It will give you 2 jobs and 3 tasks. The deployment. Inside deployment, you will select something called as a deployment group, which I will come to. In the SQL deploy, This is where you will give the SQL information. What is it that you will give here? You will give what is the server name from which you need to pull the data in SQL. What is the database name that you want me to deploy? This is where you will give what is your database name, because your database anyway would have been checked in inside your repos. Inside your repos, you would be already checked your database in as a project or as a file. Whatever it is, it would be present in my repos folder. I would go ahead and select that in my database name, which I give here. Where is that? That's where deployment to. I don't find the database name here.
So usually we are using SQL Server now, so
Right.
the scripts and all, it should be checked in into Visual Studio or in the Azure DevOps repo.
1 second. More variable DB. Now this should show the database name. Yeah, it is showing you the database name. So that is where I will edit my database name. Yeah, you were saying something. I was just starting this. Yeah, tell me what is that?
Usually we are working in SQL Server, so those scripts it should be checked into the repo, you're saying?
Correct. Yeah, you should check in that to the repo. Why? Because I am in the cloud. If I tell the scripts are present on-prem, how will I pull that scripts? You know, to deploy a website or to deploy a database, I need scripts or the backup file or the backup of my database, something. So I will usually check in my files to the repos as a separate project. I can have 10 different projects inside my repos. I will check in my all my database files as a project, and I will maintain it. It is again advantages. You can also version it, right? You can have different versions. So that is when I put down the script files.
So if I want to pull specific SPs or data, it should be in script mode, and those scripts I need to check in into the repo, right? You're telling?
That is correct. That is correct. So just to answer your question, anyway we have used this, or I'll just use one more project. Did you ever look at database project? Did you ever
Yes,
create a
yes,
database project?
yeah. But I did it in Visual Studio, but separately
Right.
SQL Server where is.
No, you will do it in Visual Studio and you will build it in Visual Studio. You will create a database project inside Visual. If you already created it, then I will not show it to you. So essentially, that is what you do.
And Visual Studio,
What
I
is,
don't know. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what is that?
No, those SQL projects
Uh-huh.
and all in Visual Studio we are maintaining only website.
Correct. You are also maintaining the project. You will also maintain a DB project to maintain all
Okay.
the files. That is what is the DB project, which will check into repos. And from the repos you get access to that files inside your deployment scripts, inside your deployment here, and that is what would be deployed into your SQL inside your VM. That is how the chain will go. Got it? That is how your chain will go. You will deploy that inside your VM by pulling it from your repos, which is a project, which is a DB project essentially. Usually you do that DB project. You will not check in the script files directly and then deploy it. You will do it as a DB project. But
Okay. If you have anything, we can get it to show
what is that?
SQL project.
I don't have any SQL project as of now. That's why I was just ignoring it, because I don't. I did not create any SQL project and then wanted to deploy those scripts. I don't have it handy as of now.
Okay.
I did not create it essentially. So that's why I was just deleting this task. because I don't want to deploy it, so I just was deleting this task. That is what is your SQL task, which is auto created for me, because it expects that once you are deploying your website, you are also deploying your database in the same server. So that is where it was giving me the task. So I'm just saying, no, I don't have any database deployment as of now. I can remove the task. I can add the task, I can remove the task.
Adul, if I want to move, actually SQL scripts and SQL connection, we will be using both, not in one server, right? We are using some other server. So on that time,
Right.
how it will be deployed? I mean, new job needs to be created, or how it?
This one, your variables. Your variables will be having key value pairs. You can add multiple variables. Key value. You'll have dev connection and connection string. Staging connection string. PPE connection string, IAC connection string. This is where you will maintain it. And depending upon your environment, you will be pulling that variable in your script, in your deployment script. This is where you will configure it. These are global variables which are available to your build as well as they are available to your release. For the both, they are you can see all pipelines. For all pipelines, I have available. I have these variables available. I take from that variables and I can replace it using a script. I write a script and I can replace it. Got it? So
And
the
one more thing is, usually we'll have QA build, UAT, and production build, right? In that, web.config will be different, right? So on that case, we need to create 3 jobs. How it will be?
you will create 3 different releases. You will have 3 different releases. Release 1, 2, 3. Each release will be pointing to a different endpoint. So you will create 3 different releases for each environment. So your releases will be different. You will be working on the same build because the same build has to be promoted from dev to staging to QA. So build will be one template, but your releases would be multiple templates depending upon what is your environment. That environment template will take the build from that particular folder, deploy it in your environment.
So if I release, sometimes I realized that that build got crashed, or the build is broken to the existing build. So I want to roll back. Then how it will be?
A rollback, there is nothing like a rollback because you already this CI/CD is helping you take a package and dump it in the server. Rollback, you can't take it out from the server. There is no functionality of that. What will you do? Go to the previous stable build, take that build, redeploy. You will take the previous stable build, redeploy. That's what you can do. There is nothing like a rollback. It's not a server, right? It's not a SQL server or a transaction. There is nothing like a transaction and I can roll back the transaction. If you crash of something, take the previous stable build and redeploy. You will not crash it. That's how simple it is.
So
So
for that, need to create new job, or manually we have to do.
you need to do manually. There is nothing like new job because uh, automatically it will do. CI/CD is a pipeline which will automatically do it. Something crashed, then you will take care of that and you will get a mail because all of your mails can be configured inside Azure DevOps. You will get a mail to entire team. Even if it is a success, you will get a mail. Even if it is a failure, you will get a mail. Any simple thing which happens in CI/CD, you will get a mail in your inbox. So you'll get a mail that someone failed, you'll quickly pitch it and they will manually redeploy. You'll re-trigger, essentially, redeploy is essentially re-trigger the release by pointing to a different build. That's what you do.
So whatever build those artifacts, it should be reside in this artifacts folder with version, or how it will be.
Essentially, you would be maintaining all the builds. So if you just, if I just go back, it will say, I will just dump everything. So no issues. I should have gone back to this, right? Where it will be that. Look at that. All my builds are present, and I have a retaining period of my builds of how much time I need to retain it. In my settings, I would have said that for how much time. Look at this. We triggered on this on one day. We triggered on 15th, we triggered one. On 16th, we triggered one. All my builds are maintained here. So I can just go ahead and point to whatever is the build which I think is stable and deploy that build. So my entire history and my build packages are all available in the cloud. It will maintain something around, I don't know what is the configuration, 100, 200. You can configure it to whatever you want. And it will maintain all your previous releases and previous builds. It will keep on maintaining it.
Instead of this, we can keep it as an artifact repository. We should maintain one artifact repository. So what this artifact will do here on
So
artifacts is there.
you can create an artifact repository, or you can directly point to a build and pull it. Both are same. Artifacts is just a packaging way of maintaining your builds. This is directly having access to the build. To you answer your question, if at all you are crashing it and you want to redeploy it, you'll just point it to some other build which is stable, and you will redeploy your release. That's when it will be, everything will be good. So that is what is a rollback inside Azure DevOps. It's not a transaction which cannot be which can be rolled back. It is like redeploy. That is how you roll back to previous version. Uh, any other questions?
So this history analysis, this attention policy having some time rate, like 10 successful build or 20 successful build like that.
Right,
So
right.
if I want to, I need to get complete build history or build packages. So I can maintain in here artifacts.
You can maintain history. You are already maintaining history. Artifacts is essentially. Let me just go there. So here you essentially create feed. So you have a feed which can be created on what is happening and who should be the people who should be notified, depending upon what is the feed you want to create. That is what is the artifact essentially. You are creating feeds there. If you are speaking about the build artifact in some other scenario, there is no build artifact in Azure. You can see that there. Build is essentially your build files which you have created. Each run gives you a package. That package is present in a certain location. You can go ahead and access that location and get your package. Yesterday we got that, right? Drop location, the drop. This is where is my package present. So I'll just go ahead and view contents if I want to. I can view the contents of my MVC, or I can download the content. If I just click on the drop location, I have the package available to me. I can download it and see what is there inside that, what went bad or what went good. The instead of artifacts, we have this way. So you already this is the artifact way of storing your builds. This is how you store your builds, all the history.
So we can't share, we can't save all the build artifacts with the versions in one place, which we get anytime I required.
You already have versions. If you're saying versions, I have versions here, right? You see that here build number is the version. It is timestamping, and it is telling how many times. If I trigger it 10 times today, it would keep on saying 17, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is your version. If at all you want the version, you can't store it as a version. You already have the history. In the history, you have all the versions. Whatever version you like, you can go ahead and pick that, right? What is the thing which you want apart from this? You want to do something else? What do you mean by having an artifact and maintaining the history of versions? This is the history of versions. You can see it directly here. That's your version, your build version, and the numbering is it is always very unique. It will not clash with anything. It will use the timestamp and dot. It will give you how many times you triggered. So it is always unique. Got that? Or any other question you have?
So you were telling that instead of here, we won't get anywhere like that. Exact my question is usually we'll use artifact repositories, right? So that type of scenario is there in Azure DevOps or not? That is my question.
That's not there inside Azure DevOps. There is nothing like an artifacts repository. You just have test cases which you can you just have builds which you can have as a history, and you can pull the builds whatever you want, and you can deploy the builds what you want. There is nothing like an artifact repository which you can maintain.
So whatever builds have happened, I can't get the entire history. So how many builds happened in a week? How many builds happened in a month? Like that, we won't get a.
If you want that kind of scenario, then use filters and say how many are successful, how many partially succeeded, failed, what repository, what branch. You can keep on adding keywords to your filters and do that. You have filtering option, right? You get all for a year how many failed, how many passed, on what repository. You can do all that. You can do it here in the filter.
But this retention policy only for few days only, right? We can keep it only for few days, like month, like that only, right?
You can edit it to years. It's not an issue. You can edit it to retain for years. Where is it? I have that option somewhere there. I need to search for it. So you can retain it for years, nothing like months or days. You can retain it for years. It will allow you to do that. Not an issue. But usually I'll not use it for years. I will never use my build more than a month. By month, in a real-time scenario, I would have built some 200 builds by then in a month. So why will I retain it for more than a 3-month period? What will I do with that old builds? I will not retain it. So in a real-time, speaking about a real-time scenario, so many developers are working, so many builds happening. Why will I maintain some build which is 3 months old? Because I would have evolved long beyond that. So usually it's not a real-time scenario that I need retention for more than 3 months. Usually people kill all the builds beyond 3 months, because by 3 months you would have gone somewhere else. You would have added so many features by 3 months. It's a realistic world, you don't do it. Theoretically, yeah, you can store it for a year, but why will I store it for a year is another question. So, any other questions?
Yeah, fine. As of
now. Okay. So let me just go to release. Okay, I'll just screw it up. Right? So let me do that again. I'll do release. And I get this guy and say virtual machine. That's where I want to deploy, because I have virtual machine in cloud. So I just want to deploy it there. It will give me 2 jobs and 3 tasks. 1 job, 2 job, 3 tasks. 1, 2, 3. I'm not having any DB deployment, so I'm just removing the DB task. That's gone. Now I just have 1 job and 2 tasks. So if I want to give all the things, one is on the parent node. I will give what is the website name which I want to deploy. I will say Azure DevOps. Just a pseudo name. I'll anyway not deploy it. So what is the setting that is required? What is the pool name you want to give? I will give the same name as my website. That's my pool name. What is the binding that you want to add? I want to add HTTP binding on 8080 and say OK. I got that. All the red's gone. Now it is all green or blur color. No more warnings. Whatever it requires, I've given it. Coming to the next one. This is one thing which is very important. I need to create a deployment group. This is what I wanted to show you. So what's a deployment group? Here you see the deployment group. What is that? There is already a deployment group. Forget about this deployment group. We'll create a new deployment group. What is this deployment group? Once I am going ahead and deploying my package, I have access to the package here, right? I am deploying my package, the build package, to the IaaS server which is present in my VM. VM, okay, it got expired. I'll just close the VM. I no longer will use it. But let me just see if at all I need to use it. I'll go ahead and I need to go ahead and deploy my package from my cloud to my VM. VM has the IaaS server inside it. I need to deploy it inside the VM, inside the IaaS server. I need to have access to the VM. That is where you will be creating your deployment group. Deployment group is the hook which will hook your portal to your VM. VM and portal are linked to each other using deployment group. How do they link to each other? I'll say Azure deployment group. Give the same description. Say create. It went ahead and created something. It is giving me a script. This is a script. Apart from that, it is giving me this guy. Use personal access token in the script. Check that box. It will add some more script. All you need to do is pretty simple. Copy this script. It is copied. Look at that script. That is what is the script. It will start with error, action reference, blah blah blah, all that. I don't care about what is there in the script. It's not my job. What does the script do? This script will hook my VM to my cloud. That is what the script will do. And it will authenticate using my username password which I have given. That is why I said use personal access token for authentication. It will authenticate itself. Otherwise, it will ask for username password. When it executes, if I don't check this checkbox, when I execute the script, it will ask me username password. What am I saying? Use the token, which is already there inside the VM. Use that token. This is what I need to execute, and it is very clear. Run from an administrator PowerShell command prompt. Inside your VM, you need to open the PowerShell command prompt. Think that this is the VM. I need to run it as administrator. I need to run it as an administrator. Then say paste. That's it. And enter. Once I say paste, enter, it will do a lot of things. It will take something around 10 minutes. Now I am in the VM. In the VM, I am saying these things. So because I already said all these things, that's why I'm not doing it again in my VM. I have already created a deployment group. So it's already there for me. This is what you will say in your initial VM setup. What will this script do? It will go ahead and connect my cloud to my VM properly. Once I have that connectivity done, that is where I will go ahead and use my deployment group. Once I'm done with that, this connectivity is done. So depending upon what is your operating system, I can say if Linux, your script changes. If Windows, your script changes. So depending upon what is your target VM, if your target VM is Linux, you will be selecting that option, the Linux option. If your target Windows if your target machine is Windows, you will be selecting the Windows option. Take that script and execute it as an administrator on your VM. That's as simple as that. Once you're done and everything goes fine, usually 99% of the time, if it is a clean VM and you did not mess around with it too much, then it will cleanly go ahead and install everything and it says success at the end. Once it says success, I have the link between my release node, my release uh, node inside my release node inside my Azure and the VM. So that is what I did here. If I just look at my deployment groups, I have two deployment groups. Just now I created Azure deployment group for us, and there is a DevOps deployment group which is already created. That is the one which is already linked to my VM. So once it is linked to the VM, why should I recreate it, right? So I can just ignore it and I can have that selected. All your red marks are gone. It was showing red until now, right? Now it is happy. So all my things are in place, and I can go ahead and trigger my release. So once I trigger my release, it will go ahead, which I will not do. So once I trigger my release, I'll just say save. I'll say OK. Once I have the release ready, all I need to do is create release. Once I say create release, it will ask me a few questions. What do you want to do? Give any comments you want, because you're deploying something to an environment, right? Any description which you want to give. Here, in a real-time scenario, what will you do? You will go ahead and say, I'm deploying feature number 1, feature number 2, feature number 3, and these are the things which we did, and the sprint number, blah, blah, blah. You would be giving some detailed description, because all of this is maintained in the history. You should be good describing things. So you will describe all the things what you are deploying inside this release and say create. Once you say create, it will try to connect to the VM and deploy whatever package you have here in the build folder output, whatever package you have. It will take that package and deploy it in the VM's IS. Then you can go ahead and browse from your VM's IS. You can go ahead and browse your website just like this. Manage website, browse, think that you are already deployed. I did not click on the create button. Apart from that, everything is the same. So once I say the create, it will deploy it in IIS. IIS will have a node like this inside the VM, my website node. I'll go ahead and browse that node, because we already did it locally. That is why I do it locally, so that I'll not connect to the VM and do it in the VM, because I'm not allowed to do so. It's proprietary. I can't do it. So that is what would be appearing inside your VM's machine. You can go ahead and browse your website. That's what you do inside your deployment, inside your release file, using the deployment group. I'll just cancel this. That's what you do inside the deployment group. As and when you have multiple things which needs to be added. That is where you will keep on saying what needs to be added. So I am done with IS. I also want to deploy SQL. You will go ahead and deploy the SQL. Say add. You got the deploy database option. I want to add one more agent job inside this. Once SQL is done, what is the other thing? I want to deploy the web API. I'll go ahead and deploy it inside my Azure portal. I can go ahead and say add. It will give me that task. I can keep on telling it whatever tasks which I want to create. Once I trigger the release, Once I trigger the release, once I do all the saves, why is the save and release not selected? Because there are red marks here. So there are a few things which I need to have, which I don't have here. That is what it will do. Once I have everything in place, I can go ahead and save, then say release. It will go ahead and trigger all these tasks. It will deploy in IS, then it will deploy the database, then it will deploy my web API service. Once it is done with doing all these three things, it will give me a success. Wherever there is failure, I will be pointed appropriately for that failures on my machine. So that is what is your release pipeline looking like. And your release and your deployment groups, these two are interrelated. Why do I create a deployment group? To hook my VM to my Azure portal. That's pretty much about your build and release nodes. Let me not save it. That's fine. Next, you have another node which is called as a library node. Here, what you can do, create a group of variables, say any variable name, and I can say I can add as many variables as I want. What are this? We discussed about environments, and I am saying I said connection strings. Def. What is the connection string of this? And has some value inside it. So I'll keep on adding multiple connection strings, and I'll have these variables, which once I have these variables, they will be accessible to all the releases and all the builds. Everyone can access it because I am creating it globally. It is like static variable. Whenever you are speaking about a programming language, you would be speaking about static variables and local variables. This is a static variable, what I am creating. I can create as many static variables as I want, and I can share them across multiple pipelines, because I will be having multiple build pipelines and release pipelines. And there would be some common variables which I want to access across these pipelines. That is when I go ahead and use the library. Library is a global variable storage. So I can have multiple variables stored inside my library. That's my library option. I'll just ignore it. I don't want to store any variables. Tasks. So if at all you are having any common build and deployment steps for your application, that's when I can go ahead and deploy tasks. What are these tasks? Essentially, before you are triggering your build file, before you are triggering your build, you want to go ahead and check whether your unit test cases have passed. All of your unit test cases have passed or not before you are triggering your build. Something of that sort. You want to do some task before your build pipelines trigger. That is when you will be using your task group. So you will import a task, whatever you want, and you will go ahead and use that task before or after your task group, before or after your build and release pipeline. That's your task group node. That's pretty much about your pipelines and the pipelines node. We are still having some time. I don't want to go to test plans now. I can take it up tomorrow and close it there. Let me just see if at all I want to highlight something else. Otherwise, if you have any questions, you can ask. Any questions you have? Or should I just go to test plans? I'll just go to test plans. I'll just speak about it, not create any test plans. So what are these test plans and what can I do in my test plans notebook? Whenever I want to create test cases, that is, you have your QA team. This is mostly for the QA team, not for the developer team. You will be creating, if you have heard about test manager or test cases which are built by QA, each of your user story or each of your user story will have test cases attached to it. A user story can have multiple test cases, and all of these test cases are usually built by your QA engineers. They would go ahead and build your test cases for each user story, and they will attach it to your user story. In your boards, in your new work item, you have a test case. I can create a test case. So I'll just give a test case like checking the employee information on admin page. I'll just say something. I'll go ahead and add steps to it. Some step. And what is the expected result? That is what I'll add here. So what is the expected result which I need to do, which I need to have once I execute this step? So instead of some chunk, I'll just say to checking employee information, right? So the login user should be user on right hand corner, should show user initials like me here. What is it doing on the right hand corner? It is showing my initials, Abdullah Khan. It is saying AK. So that is what it is doing there. So that is my first use case step. When I am checking the employee information, that is my first case. First step in my test case. Expected result should the page should show the icon using user initials. That is what would be my expectation. This is how you keep on populating it. If you ask any QA engineer, he would only keep on writing steps. He would write the steps to a particular use case and keep on writing steps. Once all the steps are good and everything goes fine, that is where he will go ahead and say the test case has passed. Each test case will have multiple steps, and once I have those steps executed, that is when I will say my test case has passed. I can also link my test case to my any of my development tasks. So what can I do? I can go ahead and link it to one of the branches. I can go ahead and link it to any of the branches and say, okay, this is what is the branch to which it is linked. Any related work item which I want to select. I'll just say, yeah, that is the work item which I want to. Maybe has a child. What doesn't have a child? This doesn't have a child, yeah. So I'll just link any work item which is related to this use case, and then I'll go ahead and add some description for this use case, saying that this is what I'm doing in this use case. Be more descriptive. This is what testers are usually doing day in day out. But where are they doing it? They are doing it here inside your Excel. So whenever you are speaking up to QA and if you say, please give me the test cases, they will share you an Excel file of all their test cases. So let me just open. What will Excel have? It will have rows, right? Multiple rows. And they would be having multiple rows and they would be writing all their test cases in the Excel. This is a more sophisticated way of writing your test cases. Usually they'll go ahead and do it here. Say username, whatever is the use case, and what is the expected result and stuff like that. All of that is done inside your Excel sheet. Instead of an Excel sheet, what Microsoft is saying has to do, it is asking us to go ahead and store my user information inside my test case, which is given as a work item, and I'm going ahead and writing all my test case, and I can also maintain my version history of what happened when and who did it. And I'm also linking it to branches and work items depending upon my scenario. So I have a 360-degree view of what are the. So if I just enable authentication in application, right? If I just save this, that's my test case. If I just go to this use case, you see the checking employee information on admin page. You see that there? So that is what is my test case which I created. I can see that this epic has a test case and this test case is related to this epic. So it's a 360-degree view. Nothing like anything is broken. It's a clean view. Everyone knows everything else. And mostly in your real-time projects, you would be having test cases which are not having any broken links. You will not have this column empty. Essentially, you would not have orphan tasks. That is what we call as orphan tasks. You would not have created orphan tasks when you are creating your test cases. Always you will create a test case which is linked to one or the other things inside your project. It will not be orphan which is not linked to anything and you just drop it there just like that. It would be having proper lineage or hierarchy attached to your test cases. That's about your creation of test case. What do I see inside summary? I see whatever is the description given by the testing leader. You would have given so and so summary. All of that is given here. Associated automation. If at all I have any automation test case which I want to associate it with, that is when I'll go ahead and populate these columns, the associated automation test case. Some test cases are manual test cases. Some test cases are automation test cases. Even though I have automated it, I need to know what are the steps which are automated. So that is where I will create a steps test case like this, and I will attach it to the automated test case which is present inside my repository. So that is what I will do inside my test case. So this is how you will go ahead and create test cases and associate them with your particular iteration. If at all I don't want to associate it with one, I can go ahead and say 3. So essentially associate it with any of the iterations and start working on it. That is what you do day in, day out inside your test case. Then we will come to test plan. Let us just speak about a few options here. This is one of the common features which you will use. Your email work items. Once you have work items assigned, if you want to trigger a mail specifically to that specific person, You can go ahead and search for them. It is similar to using any mail. I'll just search for them, assign it. If I want to change the subject, I can change the subject. Inside note, I'll say, please look into this test case. So I'm just saying that simply. I'll say send. It will be sent to this guy's inbox. You will be getting this as a mail, and you will be seeing this work item assigned to him. So this is a usual practice whenever I want to make sure that the user has information that there has been a user story which is assigned to him. This is one of the features which I'll do. I'll go ahead and email the work item. That's one thing. If at all you want to create a copy of your work item, then you will use this. Move to team project. So if you want to move a specific task or use case to something else, you have mistakenly assigned it to this thing, to this current project. You want to reassign it to some other project. That is when you would go ahead and do this. Move to work item. So that is where you go ahead and do the move to work item. What are the other actions? If you want to delete it permanently, that's fine. Customize, move to team project, new link to work item. Yeah, I can go ahead and link as many work items as I want to this parent work item. That is what I'll do inside my test case right now. How I, as a manual test case developer, will go ahead and write the test case. That is what we have discussed. So that's pretty much about what I wanted to discuss today. We will explore test plans tomorrow. Of what are the test plans and what is yeah.
So before that, you told me that release planner. So while I'm deploying these packages, so if I'm deploying through packages means how can I? It will go and deploy as a package, but in IIS website we don't want packages. So how will be?
What is that? You will deploy it as package. This is a package. Right? This is what your final deployment package will look like. And you have deployed this in IIS. This is what we just did. And I'm able to browse the site. When you say package, this is the package. What is your question?
See, package means it should be zip like in a zip format.
Yeah. Right? You need not, just rephrase your understanding. Package in Azure or .NET format is this. It's not a zip format. It is this. So whenever I deploy a package, it will be proper folder structure with bin, content, views, and blah blah. I need not unzip it and redeploy it. This is what is a package.
So package Azure, means it will go like this only.
Correct. It will go like this only. It will not go as a zip file. It will go like this only. Whenever you are deploying it in FTP, you saw the FTP option, right?
Yes.
So did we see the FTP option? I just told you that you can also do it in the FTP. That is where you will deploy it as a zip. FTP. That is where you will deploy it as a zip. There you need to unzip it and do the stuff because you are deploying it in a FTP server. It is just a server. From FTP again you will take it out and deploy it in a IIS server. When you're deploying it in a FTP, then it would be a zip file. But when you are using any other options like web deploy package or web deploy or file system, it will not be a package or a zip file. You can see that here. That's why I show the demo and then only I will do it. So
all these options are available in Azure DevOps also, in FTP, file system, web deploy.
Yeah, you can essentially go ahead and these things you are pulling it from, right? You are not deploying it. When you say FTP, you need to pull it from FTP. So that is your shared location, which we spoke about. I said you can pull it from a shared location. You will pull it from the FTP location because the bit would have dropped it in the FTP location. The release will take it from the FTP location. So all of these options are available.
No, you are doing in Visual Studio, right? I'm asking in Azure DevOps.
Yeah, Azure DevOps, this option is available. The FTP and the file system, these both options are available. Web deploy and web deploy package are Visual Studio options. But FTP, yeah, you can deploy it in a FTP location, pull it from a FTP location. You can deploy it in Azure DevOps. The file system.
File system is nothing but that publish artifact and drop location.
That's the drop location. That's right.
And one more thing, when we are deploying to the Azure VM, so how can I confirm that the connection is established correctly?
It will clearly tell you this. It will fail otherwise. It will, when I say create release, it will go ahead and try to, because I have not attached it to the right process, it will go ahead and say release. If I click on it, it will clearly give you the error. So it is saying not deployed, error. What is the error it is saying? No machine fault. I did not assign any machine to the given dependency. I wanted to assign it. So it will clearly tell you here. You will get all the errors. Whatever it is, when fine, where it failed, what point it failed, all of that can be seen inside the Azure DevOps. It will be very clear. Yeah.
One more question, Abdul.
Yeah.
Actually, this is like CI/CD tool, right? So we want to run few jobs from here to some I'm asking. There is a master slave concept.
What is it? Master slave, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
We can implement those master slave structure here using Azure DevOps.
What is master slave? Can you just elaborate that? It is very general, right? What do you mean by master slave?
I'm running. I want to run few jobs. I'm controlling from one machine.
You want to run few jobs and you want to control it, is it?
Yes.
You are controlling from you are
different nodes. See, suppose one build I am running. I want to run in multiple servers, multiple VMs.
You want to run a build in multiple VMs, is it? Never tried it. There might be an option. I never tried it. Always CI/CD pipeline. It is nothing like you need to run it.
Or I want to deploy the packages in multiple servers at a time.
Yeah, you can do that. You can have multiple tasks. That's hardly anything. Go ahead and say edit. I am anyway done because I can tamper this file. So I'll say edit. Publish is there, right? Go ahead and add one more task. Say publish. I'll just say, I can say this is the publish. So one more publish. Where is this? Full task. Let me renew this. Let me renew this. So you understand that publish symbol is publishing it to a certain location. Publish symbol paths. I will clone it 10 times and deploy it to 10 different locations. All of these tasks will take care of what you just said. I have deployed it. I have built it. Everything went fine. Publish it to one location, 2, 3, 4. All your locations are here. Where is the path you want to publish it? Publish it to 10 different paths. That's fine. Each of that path is a task. So everything will connect to that particular location and they'll publish it. Nothing about it. You can do it. Got
okay. So we have time. One more question.
Yeah. Tell me. No issues.
So here, while we are starting with, this configuration, there is a YAML file, right? So like that,
Yeah.
we can't configure through Windows PowerShell or shell script like that.
What do you want to configure? What do you mean by
See,
you want to
if I
configure?
want to connect the servers and I want to deploy my packages through scripting.
You want to connect to servers
Every
and
time I don't want to do this and all. I have a one script. I need to execute that script. So all this will be done through script. Is it possible to do this?
I think
So
no.
using
There is nothing like
Windows
this.
PowerShell or PowerShell or shell script?
There might be, but as far as I know, there is nothing like a script deploy. You have a YAML deploy or you have a classic way of deploy. I never have seen, because I don't see that option whenever I see the build, right? I don't see that option. Whatever you said.
Usually in the interviews and all, they will ask like this only. They don't want these steps and all. This and all will do. Okay, I want it through scripting entire CI/CD. Either they are asking.
Okay, but let me just look at that. I'll just answer you tomorrow because I just you can just see that here whenever I'm.
When I'm checking in the Google, so there is a chance to connect Azure, VMs and servers and all through PowerShell script. There is a few lines of code which we can deploy it from here and will
Might
automatically take all those
Yeah,
steps.
might be. It might be that because whenever I'm doing it from my regular pipeline, I get two options. One is the YAML option, one is the classic editor option. There might be another option by using the partial script. There will be an option. If they're asking it, yeah, there might be. I never explored it, to be honest.
Okay, Abdul. Today we'll try another these things and all, and I will come back to you tomorrow.
Yeah, sure, no issues. So tomorrow would be our final class. So get back to me with any questions you have. If at all I'm not able to answer anything tomorrow because of limited knowledge or anything, just mail me and I can reply back to you over the mail. Okay.
Shall I get your mail ID?
Yeah, you can just I can just ping you that rahiman.trainer RAHIMAN .trainer@gmail.com. You can just ping me there after our class. If at all you want to approach for whatever reason, I'll just clarify your doubts.
RAHMAN.TRAINA.
Can you ping your mail ID once, right, in the chat box?
Yeah. So you can just ping me there after tomorrow because we'll lose contact. So whatever questions you have which are left around, I'll just try to respond to you after my classes are done because I am usually busy with many classes. So if at all I find some space, I'll get back to you.
RAHIMAN or RAHMAN?
No, RAHI. Okay. So we'll just meet tomorrow and we'll close whatever we need to discuss, other things, and we'll have an overall view of different things what we discussed.
Same time or any time change?
Same time. No time. Same time, we'll just have a run through all the things, refresh our memory again, and then we'll close for the training hours.
And Rahman, one more request. Can you briefly tell me that few Azure important concepts also? Like you can brief also find.
What do you want? Tell me that. What do you want? Azure?
Azure important concepts like scale in, scale out, resource groups, and some other stuff is there.
Okay, ARM templates.
Yeah.
So you have Azure Resource Manager templates. I'll just
other things which is required for DevOps. So if you explain, it would be better for us.
Yeah, I'll just see how much I can cover. I'll just cover it. No issues. Okay. Yeah. So that's about it, right? So we'll meet again tomorrow at the same time, 7 to 9, and we'll close on our discussion. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahim.
Yeah. Thank you.